talk will also be recorded, and I will be putting this on the dreaded YouTube that we will be talking about, and then for you guys to enjoy. And what I'll do is I will send that out in the chat here, and then also maybe via email. If you'd like to watch it again, we will put it on the YouTube channel. All right, so thanks everybody for coming in here today. Feel free to put your questions and any comments or any concerns that you might have in the chat. I will not be talking about YouTube banning people or anything of that nature, so I will avoid that. If you could turn your webcams off and hop onto mute, that would be amazing. I will go ahead and mute Edward. I will mute Stephanie. Feel free, guys, to turn off your webcams. That would be great. Webcams can be toggled here at the bottom. You'll have the little icon. If you just click on it, it'll turn your webcam off. All right. Looks like Edward did it. Stephanie's still trying. All right, cool. So we'll go ahead and get started. What we're going to do is I'm not going to spend a lot of time like we normally do. We'll try to tighten up the talk today so I don't spend so much time yammering. There will be some show and tell where we'll show some videos. I won't actually play the videos, but we'll be doing kind of a walkthrough on YouTube just so you understand the various pieces that I'm referencing and where you can do this in your, however you want to use YouTube as an author. So first thing we want to do is talk about what I always like to talk about, which is the author digital ecosystem. You have all these various elements in your business that surrounds you as an author. Today we're just going to be talking about a very narrow band of it. So specifically under social media, and then specifically YouTube, and then how you can, leverage the various aspects of YouTube, how to use YouTube, how to set up your own YouTube channel, how to do your own video recording, what tools you need to use, what concerns you may have to have when doing that, and then how you can consider the content that you put out. So first, real quick, what is YouTube? Most of us know and have heard and probably used YouTube extensively, but at its base, it's a search engine. So very similar to Google. It's actually owned by Google, but you can view it as a search engine, a social media platform all in one, because it has the elements of building a community, sharing content, commenting, putting out new content. But it's basically a search engine, social media wrapped around a video streaming service. And this is the key thing, is it's an on-demand video streaming service. So at any time, anywhere, any place, you can watch a video for free. Most of the time there's a little bit of ads before a video, or if you have the YouTube Premium, which is something that I pay for, I don't get ads. But basically you watch a little bit of an ad, maybe there could be some advertising there, and then you go ahead right into the video. It supports live streaming and also community building, as we talked about. So live streaming is you turn on your camera, you go ahead and hit live, and you can basically just, as if you're a television show or a news channel, you can just talk live to your channel. That video is then saved for people to watch later. That's a popular thing that a lot of people like to do. Also, the size of YouTube is, it's mind-boggling. They're well over 2 billion users now, and most of that is on mobile. And that's a key concern. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but most of their users are mobile. They use their phone to watch it. I use it primarily on my phone. I very rarely use it on my desktop, but most of the time it is on my phone. So I'm kind of in that 70% range. If you have any questions, feel free to toss them into the chat as I move along. So why does YouTube matter? So this is really important. There's no gatekeepers except YouTube itself, and there's some complaints about how they've been running their platform of late in the last few years, but for the most part, there's no gatekeepers. It is an alternative to TV and news and entertainment, and it has democratized the distribution of video. And so what does that mean? That means they have taken the barrier to producing content, which normally would have had to been on like a television show or a cable access program or a large media company or television channel, where they would then produce high quality, very elaborately designed sets and video and editing and graphics and things of that nature, which is a very expensive way to produce video. They were able to shrink that down to make it very simple. It makes it very low cost to create, very easy to distribute, and almost nearly free to consume. And so that's that kind of idea that they allowed everybody to kind of create and share and make and upload. And that's that kind of idea of around democratization. The thing that I love about it is that it's viewer controlled. So you as the consumer of video content on YouTube get to rewatch, rewind, save, comment, and you get to engage with the video. And that's something we couldn't do, say, 15 years ago. So it's a really cool change. There's some downsides of that, but I think there's a lot of upsides to it. So number one, how do people use YouTube? So as you're considering using YouTube in your author business, you got to understand a couple questions of how do people use it so that I can understand, what I'm getting myself into. So obviously most people use it as a mobile app on their phone or a tablet. So that would be both Android devices and Apple devices. Other people also use the web interface. So if you have like a desktop computer, you're probably watching this through a desktop computer. Then you open up YouTube, you can watch a video there as well. And then people also embed videos on their website. So if you have a book trailer for your up and coming book, you can load that up onto your YouTube channel, and then you can take that video and display that on your website. Also, if you have like a blog where you blog about, say, book reviews, or you blog about like what you're writing, and maybe you do a little bit of a video around that, you can then share that on your blog as well. So you can take the video from YouTube and embed it directly into your blog. So it's a good way for people who maybe aren't YouTubers, but maybe want to watch a video and they like to read blogs. That's another way to use YouTube. Within YouTube itself, people can create accounts. So this is both people who consume videos and also create videos. And a lot of times those kind of blend together. So the idea is you can subscribe to channels. Channel is what you create. So it's like, for example, if Matthew Buza, myself, created a YouTube channel, I would have all my videos under this idea of a channel. And that's kind of like an archaic term from, when we used to watch TV, flip between channels, flip between cable channels. Most people don't have cable anymore. A lot of people are cutting the cord, but that term channel still retains here in YouTube. There's also an idea of notifications. So just because you subscribe to a channel doesn't necessarily mean that you will see the new video. And so it's important. A lot of users will say, okay, this is a very important channel. I like this channel. I can hit notifications, and that will then notify me in my mobile device that a new video has appeared. So if Tony has a new book review, and Tony subscribers want to be notified, their phones will buzz and it'll say, Tony Keefe has a brand new YouTube video out, and they'll notify them to come and watch it. Also, as I talked a little bit before, they have the idea of YouTube Premium. This allows you some additional features, most importantly, no ads. So if you are really annoyed by watching ads at the start of YouTube videos, you can get YouTube Premium. For me, if I'm stacking like Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium is actually the last subscription service that I would use, that I would lose. I would cancel all the other ones and leave this one because I use YouTube so much and I can't afford to waste time watching ads. Also, they have additional feature that allows you to download videos, which is kind of cool. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the structure of a YouTube channel. You're considering to do YouTube. You're thinking it might be something you're interested in. What are you going to do in your channel? First, I have a screenshot here. This is actually my YouTube channel for my podcast. I have a normal podcast, but I also take all that audio and I turn it into video, and I also have additional videos, and I put that on a YouTube channel. So you basically start with a banner image right at the top of your YouTube channel, which is really nice. You have this idea of your feed. So it's all the videos that you have put out over time. You also have this term called playlists, where you can take videos and group them together under a common theme, and they call those playlists. So if you say you have here's all my horror book reviews, or here's all my videos about my writing process, or here's all my videos about my editing, how do I edit, or here's the videos of me reading the first chapter of all my books. You can bring all those videos together into a playlist, and then people can watch those, so they don't have to go through all of, like, say you have 1,000 videos. That's kind of annoying to have to go through that. They have this idea of playlist in order to, you as the creator, to group videos that have similar content. Next, you have this nice about you. which links to websites, social media, other featured videos. So it's a nice little way for people to find more about you. And they give you that option as well. So that's just basic structure. So what we're going to do is look at a YouTube channel that's really big and really popular. Got a little bit of noise. Let's find out who's. So Diana, I'm just going to mute you real quick. Sorry about that. Give me 1 second. Let me text my wife. Got to stop the yelling. Sorry, I got a baby upstairs. So this is a big YouTube channel. This is kind of an example of a large scale, they have a huge budget, they have professional videos and everything, but I just want to show you what it looks like. They have about 6 million subscribers, and this is called The Great Big Story. I really highly suggest it. They have really nice videos that are really fun. Short, they tend to be short. They have some longer form ones, but they tend to be very short. And you can see here they have this nice big banner. They have a little icon here of the rocket ship. And then you see this banner bar here across the top. Videos, playlists, community, channels, and about. So if I click on, say, the videos, you can see you have this complete list of all the videos that they have, and that just keeps scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And it's an infinity scroll on viewing all their videos. It just keeps showing more and more videos. Along each video, they have a nice little thumbnail. If you hover over it, it begins to kind of play a preview of that video. It tells you how many people have viewed that when that video was released. You can say play all. You can sort by the certain videos, like most popular, when was the last one they added. Again, next to videos, they have playlists. So we talked a little bit about that, and you can see how they've grouped their playlist. This isn't even all the playlists. They have more here. You just keep scrolling across, and you can see these various thematic things like Mission Wild Season 1. They have 4 episodes there. That's amazing. Season 1, 8 episodes there. And if you click on that, you'll see all 8 episodes, and it will play like in order. So it'll play from video 1 all the way to video 8. They have some additional community stuff. These are potentially announcements. These are announcements that they've made around their latest video. It gets people to click and watch the next video. And then channels are channels that they're subscribed to, that they're friends of, that they're affiliates of, things that they like to promote as well. And then they have the About channel here, where it talks about the description and a little bit of their stats. So that's kind of a YouTube channel in a nutshell. And those are the type of things that you'll have to think about when you create your YouTube channel. You'll have to be able to populate those, think about how your videos will be displayed and what they will look like. Let's look at an individual video. So that's a channel. I'm going to actually go in here into the Joanna Penn. Joanna Penn is kind of she's a writer, an indie writer, self-published indie writer. I think she's doing some trad contracts now, but she also has a YouTube channel where she is an author's author, where she's selling shovels to gold miners, and she's trying to help you become a better author. If you go to her channel, you can see it's very similar to what we looked at in the previous one. She has a video here where she has her first intro video. Then she has all her other additional videos. She puts her podcast out here in audio form. So it's actually not a video. It's something that I do with my podcast. But then she also has these kind of like little introduction videos where she gives little presentations. You can see that she has, and we're going to look at this one right here, writing software, how to use Pro Writing Aid to write your books. Okay. So if I were to click on that, that goes to this video here. So you see her face, you have a title, you have right below the videos, the title, a little bit of descriptions, and then probably what the most important thing that you'll do here is actually the description. And so she has a long list of content where she's written up a nice little thing where she's talking about what she's going to talk about, maybe some links to some additional products that maybe she's doing, some affiliate links as well. And there's also a link to a transcript. So if you have issues watching a video and you'd like to read it instead, she provides you a transcript of what she said. So it's pretty nice. That's a nice thing to do. That's kind of an advanced move. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Over here on the right, there's kind of a thumbs up, thumbs down. There's the ability to click and share. So if you click on it, you can share it across social media, or you can get a nice link to your video. You can save it to a playlist if you want to watch it later, and then you can report it and flag it if you don't like it. And there's a nice big subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. Okay, so that's kind of an analysis of YouTube video. Again, each one of those pieces, the title, the description. These are all things that you'll be creating when you upload your video. And these are things that I do when I upload all of these videos to YouTube in order to show that. All right, so my first thing is, before you dive into YouTube and you want to like create a whole YouTube channel around your author, you as an author, I really encourage you to actually use YouTube before you jump into it. Now, a lot of people, oh, I've used YouTube here or there. I've watched videos on YouTube. I know what it's all about. I really don't think you do. And I think it's really important that you spend a little bit of time using the platform every day. Like, I watch probably 30 to 40 minutes of YouTube a day. Not because I'm doing it for research. It's because that I just use the platform. It's a very large platform. It has enormous number of users. A lot of those users have expectations, and it's been around for a long time. So it's important for you to learn by experiencing. So what do you need to know before these expectations, before you turn that camera on? What's the length of videos that people like to see? What type of content do they like to see? How is that content presented? And what type of video quality are you looking at? Right? So if you're thinking of a certain, way you want to, what is your channel going to do? How are you going to organize your content? What are you going to talk about? These are important things that you need to understand. So you want to go out and do a little bit of research, use the platform, subscribe to channels, see how the tools work before you actually dive into it. And I think that's an important thing, I think, across the board anyway. So if, with us, with respect to writing, we like to read a lot of books so that we understand, what makes a good story. How do we write good stories that compel people? The first thing that people say is you need to read a lot before you learn to write. And that same thing goes here. Anytime you're using a platform that's a technical platform, don't just get into the platform because somebody told you to use it. Use the platform because you know how to use it. Like, don't just jump into TikTok, never having ever used TikTok. You're going to have a lot of learning curve. So I'm encouraging you to please jump into the platform as a user first before you jump in as a creator. And I think that's an important concept to kind of focus on. Once you do a little bit of research, the next thing is you want to find a niche. What are you going to do? How will you be different than other people working on that? So, for example, I've heard people say, oh, I want to do author interviews. Well, there's a lot of those, right? And you're just going to be another one in that whole list of people doing author interviews. Are you a book reviewer? Well, there's a lot of those as well. Are you an author's author? As we saw with Joanna Penn, yeah, of course, there's a lot of people teaching you how to do things. All right, so it's important to research first, consume, and then be passionate about whatever niche that you're trying to get into. Like all things with YouTube, especially when you're doing your research, you'll see how creators release content, how often they do it. So you'll see how they show up, see how they're dependable. You may have to work for a while before you actually get something working. And are you willing to commit to that? And that's a big question for a lot of people. It's great to turn on the camera, make a few videos, and then it doesn't go anywhere, right? So it's really important to find a niche, focus on it, and really commit to it. So as always, I'm just trying to scare you away from actually doing this. This talk is really like a PSA. Don't do this. But if you're stubborn and you still want to do it, my key term is to know your niche. So for example, hey, Matt, I want to do book reviews. Great. Why don't you focus on a genre? Let's say book reviews, and then you focus on urban fantasy. But urban fantasy is a very large genre. Okay, you're going to focus on wolf shifters, and you're going to become the wolf shifter expert, because potentially that's what you write as an author anyways. So for example, if I'm a horror author that writes about occult horror, which I kind of do, if I was going to make a YouTube channel about book reviews, I would focus on horror and then occult horror. And I would go out and read all the occult horror books so that I can be an authority on that. And also, in return, that's also going to make me a better writer. So you can see how you can kind of leverage the two things. Like, oh, I read a lot of books already. Great. I read a lot of books in my genre. Great. And I want to be an expert in the genre that I write in. Great. You can leverage that and show your authority as a YouTube creator. Again, another example, if you want to be a self-published author interviews, great. But maybe you only write in sci-fi or fantasy. Well, great. You want to limit the author interviews to just the genre that you're writing in. And maybe that's still even too big. Maybe you want to focus on doing local interviews, people in the Pacific Northwest. Again, by niching down, you get very specific, but also that will help enable you to become an expert in that area, and then in turn leverage that expertise to build your own following. And so it's got to work together. Don't just create something because, oh, I think I want to do a YouTube channel. How is that YouTube channel going to benefit you as an author? Does it benefit you by learning more? Does it benefit by making you an influencer in the, in the world? Does it benefit you by learning from, reading more books? You got to make these considerations. By doing this, you separate yourself from the pack of all the other book reviewers or all the other author interviewers. And you want to embrace that you're different and actually promote that you're different. Like, oh, I'm the wolf shifter romance urban fantasy guy, right? Which I'm not, but if I was, that's what I could do. All right. So become an expert in your niche. Focus on that. Really put the work in, for a year and a half. You're going to have to commit to this. And then decide to expand. Maybe I'm going to get out of wolf shifters and I'm going to get into more of a broad discussion about urban fantasy in general, right? You want to go low and then build yourself out, as opposed to starting at just book reviews where you're reviewing every book under the sun. It's hard to distinguish yourself from other book reviewers. So this is a great method whenever you're doing something of this nature, to focus yourself down and then bring yourself out if you want to become a larger authority. So just a couple words of wisdom there. Okay, so now that you've done your research, you found your niche, you kind of have an idea what you want to do. What is the expectation around the technology? So you don't need to have a polished video. That's straight up. So I'll show you a little bit here. You can see Joanna, she's just yammering into a laptop web camera. She's got her pop filter and a little microphone. She's recording her video. She's got her books behind her, but it's not even really great lighting. And if I play it a little bit, she's not even really, there's nothing really gripping to watch here. Okay. And that's okay. So you have to understand that you don't have to be this, you don't have to make the great big story documentary like videos here that are beautiful. They're color graded. They're wonderfully edited. You don't need to do that. Straight up, right out of the gate, you don't have to have polished video. But you do need to know that shorter videos are a lot more popular than longer videos. And by shorter videos, I'm talking about sub 15 minutes and probably trending more towards the 5 to 10 minute range, especially when you're starting off, because people are not going to commit to watching an hour-long video of you talking into a microphone. No matter how good you are right up front, try to keep them shorter. It's probably a better way to start. Next thing, if you're starting to do your video, make sure you have good show notes to speak to. I'll show you some pictures here towards the end, how we use our show notes ahead of us as almost like a teleprompter to help keep us focused and keep us on pace as we're talking. Next thing, iPhone camera quality does not need to be $1,000 DSLR or a $3,000 Canon 300 or something like that, C300 or whatever. It doesn't need to do that. An iPhone is just good enough, especially an iPhone that's been made in the last 3 to 4 years is a perfectly fine to be used as a video capture device. So no big deal there. Audio, you do want to be a little bit better than shouting into a laptop or shouting into a camera. So I would encourage you to buy a $25 lav mic, the little lavalier mic that hooks up to your collar on your shirt. And I got a picture of one here on the right. You can get them pretty cheap, and there's little connectors that can connect directly into your phone. So the mic audio will be piped directly into the video, and it just takes your audio up 10x and really makes it really focused on you. I would really highly recommend using a lavalier mic. Even if you're doing any other type of creative video, if you're doing YouTube video for Facebook, or if you're doing video for TikTok, it might be really, really good to have a nice lavalier mic and really test your audio capabilities if you're doing something like that. Next, for lighting, as you can see here, I'll go back to we'll keep dumping on Joanna. Joanna's face is lit. You can see that it's orange and it's a little bright here on the side of her face. It's very likely she has a little bit of a camera. She has a light right above her webcam that she's staring at right now. And those tend to be ring lights. These are these round ring lights that people use to light their face in a dark room. You can start there. You can get them pretty cheap, 25, 30, 50 bucks. You can also get box lights, and I'll show you a picture later on how we use box lights. You can get these pretty cheap You can get two of them for under $100. The ring lights for $50. So you're looking at a total cost out the door of less than $150 using your cell phone as your video device. Now, if you're going to get a special dedicated camera, obviously the price will go up, but you really shouldn't spend a lot of money starting out the gate, and you don't have to, you don't have to spend a ton of money to start off. All right, so your YouTube performance. So when you actually get in front of the camera, number one, you will probably be bad at the start. I'm almost guaranteed you will be bad. So everybody is, so don't worry about it. You may have to, shoot the video multiple times, so don't stress about that. Really important, don't script your YouTube videos. People can really see that. It also makes you come across as very stilted and awkward. People don't like to listen to that, and they don't like to watch that. So try to get away from being scripted in your YouTube videos. If you do mess up, don't worry about it. Just pause and start again. And you can use jump cuts when you edit. And we'll talk a little bit about the editing software that you can use to error out your flubs. And I have a great example here. This is a channel that I like to watch. Not that I'm getting into cocktails, but I like watching cocktails made. I don't know why it is. There's this great guy named Steve the Bartender. He's an Australian guy who does 5-minute cocktail videos. And he is constantly doing this jump cut. So if you want to watch a good example of this, where he is talking to his camera and he's making a drink and he makes a mistake, and you see that there's a cut in the video and it just continues on and it's no big deal. So see how he does that. So don't be afraid that you have to do everything in one take. You don't have to do that. So if you make a mistake, stop and then start again. You can edit out the errors. Next thing, don't meander. Don't meander like Matthew does in presentations. Don't meander when you're talking. Really try to stay tight, informational. If you're doing like a book review, make sure you have your points, maybe a common structure that you use if you're doing a presentation or if you're doing a review of something. Don't meander on things. Try to keep it nice and tight. And again, use notes to guide you on your talk, and I'll show you an example of what that looks like in a little while. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the technology, making the decisions on what you want to do for YouTube. Now let's talk a little bit about the software. And as you can see here, the tags on every one of these is free, 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 free. Okay, so I don't want you to spend any money when you're doing your video, your editing, your audio editing. Don't spend a single dollar when you start off, because it's not worth it, because most likely, as most people do, is they burn out after 3 or 4 videos and their YouTube channel ends. So don't spend a lot of money if you're getting into this at first. So if you use your phone to record, you can upload your videos to Google Drive. This is a great way to get it off of your phone and be able to download it onto your computer. This is the method that we use when we record with our iPhones. Also, it saves the video into the cloud in case something happens to your phone. If you record a 30-minute video on your phone and it took you a while to get it right, you don't want to lose it because you dropped your phone in the toilet while you were, poking around on Facebook. So Google Drive is great. You'll have a ton of space to use that, and then you can download it and delete it once you're starting your editing. With respect to editing video, I highly recommend Shotcut. It is free. It is what I use. I have a link there for you as well. This is optional if you want to clean up your audio and then load up the audio back into your video editing. I use Audacity to do that. That is not something you have to do straight up. So don't worry about doing any audio cleanup right at the beginning. You can just do all your audio and video editing on Shotcut if you have to, but I like to use Audacity to do a little bit better cleanup of the audio. If you want to put music, so a lot of times when people are doing informationals or they're doing reviews of like book reviews and stuff, they like to have a little bit of audio below what they're talking. And YouTube provides that in your where you go to create your account and you create where you upload all your videos. There's an option to go to, quote, audio library. And this is a bunch of royalty-free music that YouTube provides to you. And it's a lot of different genres, and it could be ambient music. It could be like dance music. It could be almost anything. So you can find something that works for you, and you can put that underneath your video to kind of soften out the quiet points where you're talking. It's a cool technique that a lot of people use. So you can look at free royalty music there. So you don't have to pay for it. You just use it, and you can credit whoever made it. Are there any questions? It's been ghost town so far in the comments. Any questions, issues? Are you hearing me? Has it just been quiet for 30 minutes? Hello? Smiley face. Could you not just screw 4 light bulbs into a piece of plywood? I would not do that, Diana. That's a great question. One of the most important things with lighting is you want to soften the light. If you have light bulbs just pointed directly at you, it will cause weird lighting. It'll cause shadowing on your face. It will cause the light to not be evenly distributed across where you're trying to film, and it will look really, really off. That'd be good for horror, though. Yeah, so if you're trying to create an ambient, I'll show you a good ambient example of that. How about a white umbrella? Yeah, yes, you can do that. And I will, somebody, it looks like Edward. Edward, you're on mute. Did you want to ask a
Yeah,
question?
I was. I'm very familiar with Audacity,
Okay.
and I'm attempting to recreate a transcription that I made years ago. What I'm finding is that as you become more and more sophisticated with the tools that are available, it actually degrades the sound quality. Have you had any experience, any problems with trying to enhance the quality and losing clarity?
So that's a great question. Thanks for asking that. A lot of times when I'm recording my audio, it's how good is it going in? It's how good it will come out. And so if you're using old audio and it's like an old MP3 that has been downgraded over time, there's almost no way to improve that audio. You can do a little bit by softening some of the harshness in the audio, but that's going to take away a little bit of the quality. And so it's a play between listenability and the quality of the audio. So what I recommend everybody, if you're doing audio, you want to make sure you keep it in as raw of a format, like a WAV file, as much as possible. That makes it like a very large file, and then you can edit it and process it, and then export it as an MP3 from there. Edward, are you working primarily off of old MP3 files?
Well, actually, it was originally a tape,
Oh, okay.
cellular, and or celluloid. And what
Okay.
happened is that it had degraded over time,
Okay.
and I'm trying to recapture a storyline that I had recorded long time ago, more years than you were living, Matt.
I understand.
Uh, anyway, the bottom line is that if you're going to use Audacity, be very careful you don't overuse it, because it literally corrupts all of the work that you're attempting to improve.
Yes.
I guess that's just a general warning, and I was hoping that maybe someone will have some basic experience on how to get away from making that kind of an error.
So I have not done any type of restoration effort like you're describing, so it's a little bit above my pay grade. But again, I think the point is, however you're getting from like the tape or this, the celluloid film to a digital format, however you're doing that, make sure it's as high of quality as you can. And if you're going to be doing spot fixes, like, oh, I said this word here and it kind of jumbled up a little bit, you can go in with Audacity, and instead of applying general fixes like, oh, I'm going to run a filter across the whole audio file, you can try to spot fix in a small
Exactly.
area.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's probably the best, whatever the process you're going to do is probably something like that.
That's what I'm learning. Thank
Okay,
you,
cool.
Matt.
Hey, no problem. Yeah. With respect to you recording, if everybody has if you're recording a video for YouTube, you can export your audio in Shotcut as a WAV file and import that into Audacity, and you're working with probably the highest quality audio that you can have that was recorded on your phone. And then you can improve run filters and clean up audio and remove noise and things of that nature, and then export that as an MP3 to then be brought back into Shotcut. And you want to make sure you're keeping your audio files as large as you possibly can in order to eliminate your degradation by changing bit rates or encoding rates and things of that nature. So that's kind of a wonky audio talk, maybe not necessarily for here, but maybe we could talk a little bit about that at the end if people have questions. Good. I'm going to walk down these lines. Good questions here. What about natural light? Heidi, that's a wonderful question. Natural light is wonderful. It gives you that soft look. It takes away the harsh shadows that comes with direct light, but it's also natural, which means you can't control it. And so that's kind of the give and take with respect to natural light. If you have a beautiful window that gives you nice flat light across your face, it's a great option to use. And you can put some backlighting, maybe some gel lights behind you to give you some color along the wall, or maybe a candle. You'll see that if you watch a lot of videos, people do some beautification behind them to kind of make the framing of the image not boring. But natural light is probably your best bet. The second best is maybe a box light that I showed you a little bit earlier. Diana, when you import it back, how do you make sure it lines up? So the great thing that I like to do, Diana, when I export my audio from a video, I do no editing, like where I splice out the errors in Audacity. So I export say it's a 10-minute audio file, and I load it into Audacity. I do all my processing there, and then I load it back into Shotcut as a 10-minute file, so they line up perfectly. And then from there, I can do my cutting, so I don't have to worry about lining up audio. If you are going to line up audio where you recorded audio separately on a different device and you recorded your video on a camera, you will want to have like a clapboard, or some people just do a clap on the video, and you can try to line up your clap from there, and you'll see the spike in the audio, and that helps as well. Northwest winters are pretty dark. Yes, John, lots of darkness here. All right, next. So cadence and promotion. We're getting to the end here. Again, when you do a YouTube channel, you want to release regularly. Also have content in the bank. We talked about this with my podcast talk. Definitely try to not be producing, just-in-time content unless you are a topical YouTube channel. So that's caveats are right there. You want to schedule your video releases to time based on where your viewers tend to be. You'll see all those metrics in your dashboard within YouTube. So if you have a lot of East Coast listeners or watchers, you want to make sure that you're releasing your video at 3 in the morning on the Pacific time, so that at 6 in the morning, when they wake up, they can watch the video when they get up in the morning, or if they're riding to work or something of that nature. You want to make sure that you're in their inbox as early as possible. Can one upload drafts to have 10 in the bank before it goes live? Yes, you absolutely can load up drafts, but you want to make sure that what you've loaded up is final. Otherwise, you'll have to delete it and re-upload it. So you can load up all the videos and then fill in all your additional content as a draft. Absolutely. Yes, and then you can schedule them. So I schedule every single release that I have, and I can maybe just show you an example of that. So on my YouTube channel, this is for my Homeschool Together. You can see here, it has the green eye. It says public, 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 and then above that it says scheduled, scheduled, scheduled. And so the ones above are going to be scheduled to release, and it tells you the date that it will be released here. So you can absolutely schedule your content, no big deal. Pretty easy thing to do. Next thing, when you're doing your YouTube videos or your YouTube channel, you'll want to consider informational versus guest like interviews, and see how you can balance the two, because guests tend to help cross promote, and you can get additional listeners there. If you get any comments that are positive, or any comments in general that are not spam, you want to try and reply to them and show that you're active, so that when people are watching a video, they see, oh, there's been 20 comments, and they click on it and they see that you're in there answering questions. It really shows authenticity. So definitely try to reply to comments on YouTube. And then use your description area. So I'll show you one example here. So this is the video that I'm going to show you is just our normal podcast, that I take the audio and I make it into a video. And if anybody is doing that, Andy, I know your daughters do a YouTube channel. I do a podcast. So 2vid.io is a tool that I use. You upload your image, and then you drop in your MP3 file, and then you hit download, and it generates a video of your podcast. And basically it's just a card. And you can see that as the video plays, it's just showing my my logo, but it has all the audio underneath. It's a cheap way to get your podcast onto YouTube. So Andy, maybe share that with your daughters. We get a lot of good organic reach on our, can you do a slideshow? Absolutely, John, you can absolutely do a slideshow. I have a good tool that I use for that. It's called Screencastify. It costs about $20 a year, but you can record your audio, your slides, and you'll get an MP4 format as an output. And you can even have a webcam in there as well, and then you can load that right up into YouTube. Screencastify is the tool I would use there. I got a couple people here just hopped in. Robert, I'm gonna have to mute you real quick. Little thing there. What was I talking about? Use your description for email subscribers. So yeah, definitely. So when you have your details about your YouTube video, we have a way to, promote our newsletter, get people to sign up, go to our store, things of that nature. Also, other ways to connect with us is there as well, whether it's email, all of our other social media, and every single post, so people can click on that directly. Robert, if you wanted to turn your webcam off, that would be great. It's right there at the bottom, right in the middle. It looks like a little camera. You can turn your video off there. Next, a little bit about monetization. There's always a question around monetization. How do you monetize your video? So before YouTube starts to pay you, you typically need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watched hours of video. Just to put that in perspective, that might take you, depending on what you're doing, a year or more to get that. And that can be a long commitment for a lot of people. So do be aware of that. YouTube payouts are very low. I believe I've heard $1 for 1,000 views, 50 cents, maybe even less for 1,000 views. So if you think about it, unless you're getting millions of views, it might not pay out very well for you. The key thing that you'll want to do is you want to pair your YouTube videos and your YouTube channel with the content you already produce. So for example, your books, or if you're writing poems, or if you have a Patreon, or if you have some way to promote yourself where people can pay you money for what you produce, that's a way to go. You can also do affiliate links, so you can do Amazon links directly in there if you're promoting other books. So if you're doing book reviews, I would highly suggest using Amazon affiliates to do that. There are also tools and products that you might be a fan of, and you may want to promote that, and so you can get better affiliate rates than Amazon by, say, promoting pro writing tool or Grammarly or some other type of product. And also you can just do ads as well. Yes, you will get sponsors and you'd be surprised at how soon people will start to reach out to you to want you to promote products for them, and they'll pay you to do that. My big thing about ads, if you're promoting other products, make sure it's a product you believe in, because you can speak to it with a lot more authenticity. Just because you're a book review website, maybe you don't want to promote certain types of books or certain types of authors or certain types of products. Just getting the money is maybe not all that it's worth. So do keep that in mind. Again, starting from scratch, we'll go real quick here. I don't expect to make any money for the first year, maybe a little bit here and there, but it's not really going to be a big thing. Think of it as something that's going to promote your brand. It allows you to create a good niche and get very good specific search terms for organic reach. One of the things that we have on our podcast that I've noticed is that we have a questionnaire when they join our Facebook group where we ask them, where did you come from? How did you find out about us? And about 30 or 40% of the people say, we came from YouTube. We found you on YouTube, and now I've subscribed to your podcast. So I believe you get some nice organic reach, especially if you're in a very specific niche. People will find you because Google's very good at the search terms. We also use hashtags at the top of our podcast, our videos. So there is a hashtag mechanism within YouTube. And good descriptions, because the good descriptions feed into the keywords. I do ask for emails. I do ask for subscribers on YouTube. Promote your channel, all your various things. Because in your social media, in your email list, in your other avenues of way you're promoting yourself, you may find additional YouTubers who prefer YouTube over, say, Facebook or Twitter or TikTok. Maybe they like YouTube, and if you tell them, hey, I'm on YouTube as well, it's another way to capture them in that way. Again, also embed videos on your website. It's a great way to go. And I would say maybe stick with one video a week, maybe one video every other week is a good way to start, and then, up and increase as you want. And be creative, right? My wife and I, we do our homeschool podcast, and we put out our podcasts on our feed, but we also do videos where we review books and we review products that we enjoy and things of that nature. So have fun with it. You can absolutely create different series and different promotional things, but make sure you don't overstretch yourself, because time is of the essence. I would estimate 5 minutes per 1 minute video with a minimum of 30 minutes to upload a video and do all the work. So if you're doing a 5-minute video, it's probably just going to take you 30 minutes of additional work to produce that video. So we shoot, because we've been doing podcasting for a year, we're pretty good at delivering content in an effective manner because we like to keep our podcasts tight. We do one-shot videos for our videos where we're actually talking to the camera, and those tend to be 15 minutes long, maybe 20 minutes long. So that's one shot, no editing needed. That is very unique. We kind of roll with punches. If we make little mistakes, we don't like let it derail us. And I think that's because we've done a lot of podcasting. We have the ability to do that. That definitely makes YouTubing a lot easier if you can do it in one shot. And over time, you will get better and you'll be able to deliver one-shot presentations. Like if you're doing a book review and you have a format you like to follow and you have good notes and you've practiced a little bit before it, giving it in a one-shot is very realistic. So don't worry about that. For us to put out that video, it takes me about 2 hours. That's 2 hours to plan, write the notes, set up the filming, edit that video, review it. And then we like to rewatch it when we first shoot it to make sure it is a good one shot. And then I have to upload it and write descriptions. So it takes me about 2 hours to put out that 20-minute video. So definitely something to consider there. And I will give you a little bit of a picture. So when my wife and I are doing our side-by-sides, we have our kitchen chairs here in our office. You can see our box lights are here. We have light above the ceiling here that you don't see. We turn that off, and we are solely through the box lights, and they're angled at 45-degree angles, so it lights up both sides of our face so we don't have any harsh shadows. I have a little chair here that has all my books, so I can pick up my content and show the book and then move it to my wife, and then she puts it in the empty chair. None of this you can see in the shot. On here in the middle here on the right side, you see the stand where the iPhone goes into. And then the piece of paper is dangling, actually has our show notes. So as we're talking, we're going down that list and we talk to those points. It helps to keep us on task. I also do a 2-phone camera setup. So we review homeschooling curriculum as well. So the same setup, but instead of one camera that's coming off the side here, I have another camera that's hanging down, and that is my daughter's little couch sitting on another chair. It actually creates a really nice surface to review. Again, none of this is in shot, so it actually fairly clean look, but it looks like chaos when you actually see it in the pictures. So definitely know that your setup doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be really good within the frame of the camera. So yeah, so you can see it can be as kludgy as this. So I've kept it to 50 minutes, which is 5 minutes longer than Joel wanted me to go. But there you go. So there you go, Joel. How do you like that?
Nice job.
Yeah. Joel looked at me in the face and he told me I'm a bad presenter. And
no, I think you actually did 45 minutes because we didn't start right on 1:30.
Yeah, Joel was like, "You're too long. You're too winded, young man." And so I tried. 45 minutes there. There you go. I expect you can Venmo me no money as a thing. So I'm happy to talk as much as you want. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or you can come off mute if you maybe showed up a little bit late. This was a recording, so I will then upload the video if you want to watch it. Does anybody have additional questions or anything? I've been doing the YouTube thing since March. So I have a little bit of experience. I'm not like a big time YouTuber. I will show you a few videos. So Edward knows this guy. This is the Dirty Mountain Goats. This is Andre's YouTube channel. If you get a chance, check it out. It's really funny and entertaining. His is basically a dirt biking channel where it's a first-person view of people going through the mountain passes and on the trails and stuff. And it's a great example. He's got almost 5,000 subscribers. He gets a lot of views. He's been doing really well with it. He makes really fun, entertaining videos. Obviously, you can see this would not apply to authors, but it's a good example of what you can do. This woman is a book reviewer. She's got 300,000 views on this book that she just did, Best Books of 2020. She's got almost 200,000 subscribers. Took her a long time to get there. She obviously records into a corner. She has a ring light lighting her face. She has an open window lighting everything else beyond that, so you can see how simple of a setup this is. This is maybe in a corner of a room. You can imagine it looks very similar to something like this. The image here that I have, where she has a light against the corner of a room, against some bookshelves with some video. She's probably using an iPhone, maybe a webcam, maybe a laptop set up on a stand. You can really see, and she's sitting in a chair that you don't see. Good example of that. You can also see what, super low energy looks like. I like Chris Fox, giving him a hard time because he's just talking into a webcam with a green curtain behind him. And he's got, he's an author's author. So he's teaching you he's selling shovels to gold miners. So he's really good, but you can see he has almost zero effort in what he's presenting. And he's a shouter into a camera type of person. So you can see how simple you can go, with your setup. I would prefer trying to shoot for something like what this girl is doing, what Noelle here is doing. I think it's the base minimum and it makes you look really professional and people stick around. So anyway, any other questions? I would like to see animations. Where can I get them made? Okay, so animations, that's going to cost you, John, but you can start on Fiverr. You can look on Reedsy, so Reedsy or Fiverr, as a good starting place and see what you can get off of that.
I remember those years ago.
Yeah, you didn't like them?
I couldn't find anybody who could give me the animations that I was looking for a book that I was about to publish. That was about a decade ago, though, so maybe my information is a little anecdotal, but I couldn't get anybody to even come close to doing the animation that I wanted for my books were out.
So there are, if you're the type of person that it has to be exactly your vision, that's going to be a difficult thing. I'm just going to tell you that. I don't, take it for what it's worth. If you're willing to kind of adapt, this is kind of what my thing is. There are platforms that sell videos, and you want to look for, I don't have the name on the top of my head, but there are places where you can buy pre-made videos that might be along the lines of what you're looking for. And I don't know, the search term would be like something like, book trailer, how to, getting videos, things of that nature. And you can find people on what they're using. I think I keep wanting to say video purchasing. Sorry guys, we are deviating here. If you don't want to stick around, you don't have to stick around. There's some platforms that will sell video. It might be a good place for you to go. And then you can stitch them together and build them yourself, or you can contract people. I would check Reedsy. There might be some video editors there. John, same thing with 3D objects. It's tough. I mean, you're going to be paying for it, and that's kind of the hard part. If you don't care the price, there are some artists out there that will do it for you, but it's going to be difficult.
Hey,
what
Matt,
do you? Yeah, go ahead.
You showed your setup for your videos.
Yeah.
Can you just put up what it looks like, the video itself?
Yeah.
Got
it. Now I know what you're talking about.
So we can see what. There you go. Exactly.
So that's what it looks like from this image right here. So these are the two chairs we're sitting in. Those are the lights. That's the camera, and that's what it looks like when we film it. And again, this is being filmed on. I'll just mute it. I'll play it here. This is being filmed on an iPhone. It's edited in Shotcut. Audio is edited in Audacity, and you can see the lav mics that we have on our shoulders right here. Here and here, we tuck the cord under our shirts. It's pretty simple. I can show you the above. I'll show you the one that has the dual videos here. So here's a picture of me. I'm sweating big time already because this is my 5th video. I batch recorded like 5 of them. That's this one right here. So the camera is not straight out in front of us. It's off on an angle so that we didn't get it in the shot. So it's right here above, just off camera, off the right side. You can kind of see it right here. And then I kind of make a motion here because I recorded the videos together. I recorded all the videos together, and so made it easier for me to edit. And then I went ahead and just shot it. So this is all in one take on 2 separate video cameras. And so this is my above ground shot. You can see it's got the nice felt look, pretty simple, straightforward. And that's how it looked. And again, I'm using Shotcut to do the editing. It was our first try at overhead filming. It's probably not great, but it's a good place to start. Do you have homeschool and relative theory? Do I teach special relativity in homeschool? Not yet. Any other questions or comments or things you'd like to see? How do two lab mics work at the same time? Ah, wonderful. So I have a Y splitter. So a lav mic Y split. So I have one of these guys. And so the lav mics plug into one and the other, and then this connector goes into a lightning connector that goes right into the iPhone, and we get 2 channels, and it sounds fine. That's what we do. So I'm sorry, Diana, did you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
No problem.
I can see that for your homeschooling podcast, that on your way to conquering the world, that eventually revenue would be good, and in the meantime, making connections and then maybe getting free stuff if people want you to review it, that would be quite beneficial right there. But for an author who maybe would just want to drum up a little more interest in books and really didn't have much dreams or hopes of ever making money directly from YouTube, is there any, other than the hassle of it all, is there any downside? Is there any entry fees to putting things up or having a subscription? I'm sorry I missed the first part. Maybe you covered this already.
So it's 0 cost for you to create a channel. The only cost would be your time and the equipment that you might buy, just to start off. But other than that, it's really just time putting it all together and uploading the video. It's all free. YouTube makes money on selling you as a person to advertisers. So it's that same free model where you get to do everything for free. So like the barrier to entry is pretty low. It's very similar to your audiobook work that you're doing.
Gotcha. Thank you.
No
Can I
problem.
ask if everyone, unless other people have questions about this specifically, I also have a question about the Amazon affiliate program.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Amazon affiliate, hit me.
Okay. I started to sign up for this once, but I was stymied by what it wanted. And I think it was maybe partly by just the terminology they used, but they wanted to know what my current programs were or something. I think they wanted to know what my reach was, but I decided that basically I had nothing and it wasn't probably likely to get approved since I had, a newsletter with a couple of subscribers.
I think when we created our account, which maybe about a year and a half ago, they ask they might ask you what your reach is, but they don't really care like that. It might be 0. They want to know like what you're targeting. So for us, we were targeting books and like educational things, and they want to know your website that you're going to use to promote that. And that was all they needed. And then they approved me, and I have affiliate links pretty much everywhere. Like for example, in this video, we go through all the books that we liked for that week. And then if under here, you can see that every one of these links is an affiliate link to Amazon. And so I can see where people are clicking. And then we have a little disclaimer that says, hey, the description contains affiliate links at the bottom. And so, if you click on this, this takes you to Amazon, and then it has you can see here up in the top, it has our code for it. So there was really no limit. I didn't have any like restriction on, from them regarding what we were doing, even though we were just starting out. I mean, everybody has to start out somewhere. So.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No
I
problem.
imagine then with this that the affiliate links might over time be a significant chunk of your income. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, believe it or not, we're getting most of it off of selling our own resource guides, because so within the homeschooling, we're doing an around the world study, and we're selling our own, like we put together book lists and videos and whatnot, and we put those up on our Gumroad store, and we're making money that way. I don't know how that idea would apply to like an author side of the thing. I would just sell your own books. That's how I would do it. But like, for example, we did do a course because we used a software tool. Let's see, here it is, Trello. And so we put together a beginner's course, and then we sell an advanced course you get access to like another 12 videos. And that was another way we've been making a little bit of money from that as well. Would you consider a YouTube channel for your own books? Yes, I would. So like Heidi, I've been considering doing my own YouTube channel for my own books as well, and maybe putting out short stories as audio stories to get people interested, putting out book trailers, reviewing potentially similar books as mine, things of that nature. So I would absolutely do that for my own books, and I'm considering doing that. Yes, you have ideas. No, it's really, really good, especially for you guys with like read-alongs. Like if you want to do, book read-alongs, so like a children's book read-alouds. These are very popular, where people will read the books. And see, I'm on my wrong YouTube channel. We have to watch stupid videos. So what they'll do is they'll do really creative video editing as you read the book, so it makes it kind of fun and exciting. Or they will just have the book above, and then they will flip the pages, and that's where a setup something like this will be helpful. So if you want to talk to the camera and then read the book, something like this might be helpful. Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know how they get permission to do the reads of the books, because you're basically giving the book away. I don't know. If it's your own book, you can ask yourself if you want to approve being on YouTube. Any other questions? Because I know his eyes are glazing over already.
Yeah, has anybody here ever heard of ACX?
Yeah, so we had a lengthy. Diana gave 2 really great talks about doing audiobooks. Not only just how to do them, but also how to do them yourself. We can link those videos in the comments here if you'd like to watch those.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think it would be a good idea to have like at least audiobook auditions and put it on your YouTube channel so people will get a better sense of what your book sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good one, especially recording yourself reading into the microphone. It would be really cool. I agree with you. I think that'd be kind of cool. Do you have any ACX questions in general? Diana can help you with that. I'm going to hit the stop the recording, so